where you stop. Nothing moves the blob.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Where'd go? No power on Earth can move the blob.
The Blob was a character from when I was a kid in the X-Men cartoons. The idea was that his mutant power was that he was able to create fat and use it as he would choose in order to be the unmovable blob. However, this created a lot of misconception about how fat works and what fat can be used for. Another name for fat is lipids, which we will see today. Hopefully I want you guys to see where lipids come from and why production of lipids is actually a natural part of the body. Too much lipids can end up being problematic, but we'll look at that later in our health unit. For today, just understand where lipids come from and how they're used in the human body naturally. Lipids. Remember, glucose is the molecule organisms use for energy. When glucose is unused, it will turn into lipids. How the body makes lipids is it takes glucose molecules in the bloodstream that are unused. It then will break down using energy to break the bonds between the carbons and the oxygens, then begin to form them into a long chain. Then these carbons are arranged in such a way that they are able to be stored easily, creating a lipid. This is then stored in parts of the body where it can be called upon in times of emergency. What is a lipid? A lipid is another name for oils and fats. Because of lipid's unique shape and its long chain of carbons as shown in this picture, it is a great source of energy as it can break down carbons bit by bit in order to supply the necessary energy for molecules to go. Because of its long chain, it is also able to be used as a great way to store energy and be compacted into places. It is a long chain of carbons. It's great for energy storage. As the body runs out of glucose, it will start breaking down the fat, or lipid. Lipids are great for animals in general, as they allow to make sure that if the animal does not have a chance to eat, it is able to survive for a little while it looks for food. Arctic creatures such as walruses, whales, and others such use lipids to be able to store energy for the cold winter months ahead, as well as insulation. What are the types of lipids? The first is saturated. Saturated are when the carbons are in a stiff chain, such as below, CCC. It makes it very stiff. As you can see in this picture, a saturated fat is a long chain of carbons that are singly bound. This forces it to be stiff and rigid. Saturated fats are found in butter and other such stiff lipids. Saturated fats are found in foods like butter, red meat, cheeses, and eggs. While they do act as a good source of energy, it can be problematic to health if they are not burned off, and thus lodging in the arteries. Unsaturated fats are when the carbons are in a loose chain as shown below with double bonds between them. It makes it very loose. Compare the unsaturated fat to the saturated fat. Notice that there's double bonds in between the carbons, causing the chain to be loose and flimsy. Typically found in oils, such as olive oil, vegetable oil, and others. Unsaturated fats can be found in things like oils and certain fish. While not as high in energy as saturated fats, they do perform a necessary function and are easier to burn. Where are lipids found in the cells? They're found in the cell membranes. The cells use lipids to be able to create a cell membrane that acts as protection, as well as filters objects in and out of the cell. We will see the specifics of this when we begin to talk about our cell unit.